Welcome to Kolme Group's Claris and Functions in the Flash, where each episode we introduce you to a new Claris and function and show you how to use it. Hi, I'm Kim Essendrup, one of the founders of Kolme Group. I'm a certified PMP. I've built and run delivery organizations, and I've been working with Claris since about 2015.
Hi, I'm John Mallory. I'm a certified project management professional with 18 years of IT project management experience. I enjoy solving business problems with Claris and workflows and teaching others to do the same.
All right, John, what are we covering today?
Today, we are covering two related functions, GetRuntimeParameter and GetHiddenRuntimeParameter.
These are good. These are really powerful, and they make for some really good user interface, user experience changes.
Absolutely. GetRuntimeParameter is a function that returns a string representing an object reference, and GetHiddenRuntimeParameter allows you to pass one or more object references from a custom action to a subsequent daisy-chained custom action.
Let's talk about that daisy chain concept because it's much more advanced. Can you talk a little bit about what daisy chaining custom actions is and how it works?
Yeah, sure. It's very useful when you've got a workflow that has branches of logic. So you've got a custom action that triggers some input from a user, and then based on that input, you might want to send them in one direction versus another. So when that's the case, you can have a conditional action at the end of that first custom action that calls the correct custom action as a follow-up.
Right. So maybe an example would be if I've got a custom action to create a new project, I click a button and I have a form that pops up as part of my custom action. I fill in some information. What's the name of the project? What's the value? Who's the sponsor? And then maybe I have a field that says, what is the type of project? And maybe different types of project require different information when you set them up. So I can set that up maybe with type 1 or type 2, and depending on what's selected, that custom action can call one of two other custom actions that are completely different and collect completely different information.
Exactly.
And the GetRuntimeParameter and GetHiddenRuntimeParameter is the method that we use to pass information from custom action 1 to custom action 2, custom action 3, and so on, correct?
That's correct. So in this example here at the bottom, we're using both runtime and hidden runtime parameters in this one statement. So we're getting a custom action URL. That's how we call a specific custom action, and we just give the name of that custom action. All custom actions and Claris have to have unique names, and then we're passing to that custom action the runtime parameter of an object. Very often that would just be current object, but it could be something else. And then we're passing a hidden runtime parameter of project name in this case. So we're passing the name of the project to the next custom action.
Super. Do you have an example you can show us?
Okay, so we've put the custom action at the organizational level, which makes it available in this custom actions menu on the ribbon. And so when I click there, I can start the initiate new project custom action. I'll give it a project name. Just say test project for demo. And we're going to say this is an R&D project, and it has a budget of $50,000.
So before you click next, we have a custom action, and this right now, what's it going to do? Is it going to create a project with this data?
It will create a project, and because of certain parameters that have been met, here are conditions that have been met, it will also call a follow-up custom action.
Okay. So
when I click next, we're now prompting for a business case, and we'll walk through the configuration here, but because this is over $10,000 is the condition that we put, and it's an R&D project, we need to give a business case. So this is my business case.
And so when you called the second custom action from the first one, it passed the object that the custom action is working on, and then maybe some other data, correct? But we didn't see that.
That's right. Yeah, so finally here, since this needs to be reviewed, we need to give them a deadline for their review, and we click next. And now we're doing a couple things with the custom action. We're sending the user that initiated this project to the project that they created. And then we're also sending an email that I just received here that says, and then this would be going to the R&D approver, and it's telling them that there's a new R&D budget requested for test project for demo, and they can click on the link from here that will take them directly to the request, where we can see the business case. And we've also told them in the email what the budget was.
Very nice. So can you show us how the runtime parameters work on this one?
Yes, this is the initial custom action, initiate new project. We're prompting for project name, project type, and project budget. We're doing we're creating the project using the project name from the input form, making the current user the project manager, and we're also using the project type, R&D in this case, as in the investment type field. Then we've got a variable that's deciding whether approval is required. So if the project type is R&D and the budget's more than $10,000, then yes, we need approval. So this is where the magic happens in the success message. Instead of showing a message to the user, we're opening a URL.
And so so the URL that you're actually opening is the URL that goes to the next custom action, correct?
That's correct.
All right. And we'll have, for our viewers who are interested in learning more about how to daisy chain, we'll cover that in more detail in another video.
Yes. So if approval required, and that's just a toggle, so that's true, then we're going to get the custom action URL. So this is the URL that we're looking for. It's the URL for the custom action budget approval request. And we're going to send to that the runtime parameter new object 1, which was set right here.
Right. So you're basically telling the custom action which object it should be running on by passing that first parameter, right?
That's right. And then we're passing the hidden runtime parameter of project budget. So if approval is required, this will run. If not, we've got a custom action called terminator, and we won't really go into that at this point. But essentially, it's just a custom action that doesn't do anything, because we needed a way to kind of exit out of this workflow if no further custom actions were required.
Okay. So as a test, just to demonstrate the difference between GetRuntimeParameter and GetHidden, can we change this? Yeah, there we go, to GetRuntime and then run that custom action again.
Absolutely. So I will force the same conditions and say next. And now that budget that before was a hidden runtime parameter is now not hidden. So the initiation form that has this parameter as the first input is actually displaying it instead of hiding it in the background.
That's pretty good. And so if I have a form that has, say, 5, 6, 8, 10 different parameters of my custom action, can you send that many parameters using this function?
Absolutely. So and this is the second custom action that we were just seeing the result of, where budget is now being displayed instead of hidden. So if I go back here and change this back to hidden runtime parameter, then the next time this runs, it's just going to pass that budget into this, but not display it to the user. And
now I noticed that you put the parameters, that parameter was the first parameter you put in, and that's the first field. Would it matter what the field order is on the form?
It does matter. You have to, any hidden runtime parameters have to be the first parameters in your input form, and they have to be in the same order as they're being sent.
Right.
Yeah, so to continue with the logic here, we're hiding the budget, we're asking for a business case, and then we're creating a new item, which is a request, and giving it a name, and we're providing the business case, and then we're sending a notification to the R&D budget approvers group and giving them some information. They've got a new request for the project, and here's the link to the request, and we're letting them know what the requested budget is. And then we've got another URL message down here that says that we're going to get the internal link request to project. So we've got to, if we create this request, then we need to link this request to the project. And so that's what the last custom action does. And we're sending that custom action the current object, which is this request. And we're sending them the new object one, which is, new object one is the request. Current object is the project. And then, so we're sending both of those, the project and the request, to the final custom action, which all of these are hidden. These first two are hidden. Again, they're the project and the request object. We're asking the user for a due date to let the approvers know kind of when this is expected by. And we're creating the related work link, and that links the request and the project. And then we're updating a field, and then we're done.
Great.
We're just taking them to the project.
So this is really get hidden runtime parameter and get runtime parameter, a really nice complement to this idea of daisy chaining custom actions, which, as you've developed here, you can create very dynamic flows of leading the user through step-by-step processes, just like what you've done here, and they can be dynamic. Thanks, John. That was really cool. So hopefully our viewers can see that this idea of linking custom actions can create a really dynamic workflow and a great user experience. They can go through these multi-step processes. It can be branching, it can be dynamic. And part of the power of that is using these get runtime parameter functions.
Absolutely. So I've got a few closing important points to keep in mind. The get hidden runtime parameter, it's used, as we've talked about, passing values as parameters from one action to another. The order of parameters sent needs to match the order on the intake form. And the get runtime parameter has some uses outside of daisy chained custom actions. You can use it to create a custom URL formula field that calls a custom action when it's clicked, and that might be another demo that is done. And you can use it for notifications that include a link to a specific object.
And that's get runtime parameter and get hidden runtime parameter. If you have questions on this function, hit us up at kolmegroup.com. And if you found this useful and are ready to take your claritin skills to the next level, check out the link below for Kolme University, or reach out for individual consulting and training for you and your organization. That was really good and very educational. Thanks, John.
Thank you, Kim.